Everybody's watching. Everybody's watching you.
Welcome to another episode of Aftermath, Life After Reality TV, the podcast where we talk about what happens after the cameras stop rolling. I'm Kat Perkins. I'm very familiar with all of this as I was a top 5 finalist on season 6 of NBC's The Voice.
And I'm Tryton Lancedal, co-host and professional live singer, dancer, actor, nurse, and future reality TV star. We are all about the real story, the emotional, mental, and personal journey that comes after reality TV.
Today, we are so excited to welcome designer, author, entrepreneur, and top 5 finalist from season 6 of Project Runway, Christopher Straub. Christopher, welcome to Aftermath.
Hey, my top 5 bestie.
Yeah, totally.
I didn't realize we're like the same there. Our credentials
Season
are like
6.
exactly the same.
Absolutely.
But this was
Except
kismet.
mine,
for
I
us.
wasn't on a network TV show. You got that one though.
Wow.
You got.
Well, there's still time.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know
Oh,
if
yeah.
it matters.
There we
there's
go.
still time.
Triton, I want to know, what would you apply for?
Oh,
What
What-
haven't
where
I
would
applied
you-
for?
Where could you?
So what hasn't he
Okay,
applied
all right.
for?
What's your dream land then? Where would you?
Well, in the end all be all, traders.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be on the
Oh.
traders. But to usually get to the traders, you have to be known from something else, at least
Mhm.
in the US version. But I think I would really do well on Big Brother or The Circle.
I think Big
something
Brother
about-
for you.
Yeah, I think I'm good at the what do you call them?
Mind games.
Kind of. Yeah, like the social experiments,
Oh yeah.
like the
I get it.
long-term journey of a show.
He did
But
apply for
basically, whoever will cast me, hit
he
me
applied
up.
for Survivor a couple weeks ago. I think
Oh,
Big
Big
Brother,
Brother.
Survivor, the
Survivor,
traders.
I guess Survivor 51, because Survivor
Yeah.
50 is about to start, right?
51 or 52 are
52,
currently
I think.
casting.
Wait, can
Yeah.
I start with like a real kind of bizarre thing? Long before I was on Project Runway, I applied for Survivor season 2.
You did?
Two. And here's what's so wild back then. Because when did it start? 2000? Yeah, so I had to have applied in the year 2000, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
2000.
So back then, I was not in a place to like buy a camcorder. I love this story. You're going to love this.
This is
Right,
great.
so I did not have a camcorder. There's nothing I could do. You needed to submit a VHS.
Oh my God.
The only way I knew you could get a VHS was that karaoke booth at the mall.
Oh my God, I
And
remember that booth.
It's so you could go to Southdale Mall, which is in Minnesota, in Edina, Minnesota. And you could go in, and it was like a little karaoke booth, and you entered the song you wanted to sing, and it,
Yes.
I guess, played the audio, and then maybe, the words came up in front of you, and you did your singing, and then it spit out a VHS. So
I have
that's
3
what
of
it
those
did.
at my house.
Oh my God, I love this. Okay, so I did that as my application. This is gonna be, okay, this is so good. So I went in and I was like, I need to choose a song that I can, because I needed to it needed to be quiet enough. Like, it needed to be like a ballad,
like an
right? So I
underscore?
could do my like, hey, I'm Christopher and I work at Old Navy or whatever I was doing, right? And so I typed in Garth Brooks, like, some slow ballad Garth Brooksy song.
The dance, probably.
I was
It
gonna
was
say
the
dance.
dance. I think it was the dance. So I had this dance going on behind me, the words in front of me. Maybe I had like written down what I wanted to say and like taped it to the screen in front of me. And so it spits out the VHS tape and it puts video behind you.
Yeah,
I
like a
didn't
green
realize this.
screen?
So I'm doing my like, hi, I'm Christopher. I work at Old Navy and I live in whatever. And there's eagles flying behind me, and then it's the Capitol building, and then it's the 4th of July fireworks. I hope it's so destroyed by now. The cringe embarrassment. It's lovely and funny to talk about it. I pray that it does not still exist. But I had
I
to
literally
it
need to
does.
see it.
I
I
need
had to
that.
send in my VHS, and I'm sure we had to fill out like 1,000-page application. Like way back when I was on TV, it was a 47-page application, and it was all these, like background checks and all these things.
Yeah.
But like, so I had
It
to
truly
send that
hasn't
whole
changed
big
that
thing.
much. It's
It
online
hasn't
now,
changed
though.
that much.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's
I've seen-
online.
Yeah,
Wait,
I've seen some shows that are just like, send us your Instagram, type
For sure.
name or
There's
whatever.
a lot of those, but there's still a lot of shows that are literally like 3 hours of applications.
I
How
know
can
it.
we
Every
get
single
our
question.
hands on this video?
Do not reach out to Mark Burdett Productions.
We have
Noted.
the same. We have the same.
Noted.
I
Uh-huh.
have them in my back pocket.
Please, no.
It's in the vault
shouldn't have-
somewhere.
I shouldn't have said anything. Strike
No, I
this
love
from
it.
the record. Strike this from the record. But that's my experience. I had done that, and then I hadn't done anything and then I applied for Project Runway. Actually, so I applied for Project Runway a couple times, and in the middle there, I filled out the application it was a show on Bravo called Top Design, because I was working in the field of interior design. But I filled out the whole application and I never sent it in because I didn't want to be known as an interior designer. I wanted to be a fashion designer.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You were
So I
really
filled it out.
self-producing yourself back then.
Yeah. I filled it out and put it in the corner. I remember the file that it was in my office, that it was when I was working in interior design. I just put it off in the corner and I let it die.
Oh my.
We got to resurrect her.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. For a show that isn't on the air anymore.
Well,
But thank God, right? Like, it's
reboot!
like yeah,
Reboot.
exactly. Bring in the reboot.
Bring in the reboot. Okay, well, Christopher, let's dive into our actual first question.
Okay, all right.
Tell us about growing up in Minnesota. Did your
Minnesota
fashion become a part of your world, or were you sketching as a kid, sewing early on? I know you said that you were self-taught throughout your endeavors. So just tell us a little bit about growing up.
Well, it was when I grew up, like I'm 47 now. So like at that time, there wasn't the access. Like younger folks know what's going on the runways, like as the foot is stepping onto the runway, right? Like I didn't really have access to that. My view of fashion was solely from Rolling Stone magazine. So really like rock and roll fashion, and what was in music videos. And so I remember George Michael, Too Funky. And that was this Mugler runway show fantasy. And that was the first time that I was like, oh, like clothes can be something beyond what you'd wear out. Or like where in real life, like clothes and costume can be melded and be this thing. And somebody, this girl can walk out as a motorcycle, this girl can walk out as a robot. And like that I remember sitting on the floor watching that music video, just thinking like, this is special. Like, remember this moment. This feels so special. And so then I started sewing when I was around, 14, 15, 16 maybe, and I was using my dad's sewing machine because he had a sewing machine and he fixed tents and he wasn't making clothes. He was like sewing for utilitarian purposes. And it was a broken machine, so I had to fix it and then learn how to thread it and learn how to sew, all without. Now people would be like, go to YouTube, go to whatever. I was doing it like on my own. And so the first garment that I ever made was a pair of pants. And it didn't work. Like you could plug it in and it just the belts didn't work or whatever. And so I was hand cranking the needle up and down and sewed an entire pair of pants. And at that time, pants were fat, right? Pants were big. And so it's like, you imagine now it's like everything's like skinny jeans. But back then it was like wide legged pants. So I didn't have enough material to make the pair of pants. So I used two different materials. So one half, the left side was khaki and the right side was purple. And on the back side, I reversed the pockets. And it was Now I
my
look back and I
God.
go, I was making clown pants
But this is
back then,
so ahead of the time.
but I wore them. But I wore them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like I wore them, and then I got business making the garters for girls at prom time. I got business making cloaks for the weirdos like myself. Yeah, I was like sewing for a living in high school.
Oh my God. I mean, that makes so much sense. That's why you're so great at
Yeah,
it.
a
I've
little
seen,
entrepreneur. No,
exactly.
I
I've
was like
seen,
business 101.
I was there. I was going door to door. I would make winter hats, and I would get dropped off in the rich side of town in Edina, and I would go door to door and sell my hats. I would literally knock on doors selling hats for $7
oh my
or
God.
whatever. Uh-huh.
This is wild. I have an unfair advantage because I know you and we grew up in the same spot and we live close together now. But I see a lot of your sketches a lot. You know, I love the way you like put it out like concept to finish and whatever.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
And I know that your one of your boys has like super arty skills like of drawing and stuff like that. Were you drawing as a kid like that? Like early,
Yes.
way
Yeah.
early?
So I was always, I had won every art like award that elementary school, middle school, and high school had to offer. At some point I had taken every art class, and so I was making up my own syllabus, my own curriculum for my own class. So I was the only one in advanced ceramics. I was the only one in advanced photography. I was the only one in whatever it was, because like they had run out of classes for me to take, and so I was making up my own. And but I've been drawing my entire life, and my mom was a professional illustrator as well. And so I grew up knowing that an artist could be more than an art teacher. Like for a lot of people, that's all they think of, right? Like, oh, if you're going to be an artist, all you can do to make art is teach art.
It's kind of like music too.
Yeah.
The same mentality. Yeah.
And so my mom was an illustrator and at that time it was before digital photography was used in ads. And so, or as common. And so, there's a grocery store in the Minnesota area called Red Owl.
Oh my God,
so she would illustrate, if tomatoes were on sale this week, she would draw the tomatoes. She would draw the carton of milk. She would draw the peppers. She would draw the Swanson's TV dinner. And so she did that. And then she also, then the connection to fashion was, there was a department store here called Dayton's, and that was like the highest end of the department stores, especially in this area in the Midwest. And so she would go to the downtown store, pick up dresses that would be featured in the ads, and she would hang them up. Did your houses ever have those like banana baskets in the kitchen? Like it was like a 3-tier basket. It's like you'd put bananas in it.
Sure, I know what
like
you're talking
you hang it from the ceiling. Yeah. It's a very specific kind of there's a specific timestamp on that, right? Yes. So there was there was a banana basket, 3-tier banana basket hanging in the kitchen, and she would hang up the dresses, and they'd be like a floral dress or a stripe or a whatever the dress was, and she would draw them in the kitchen, and I would fall asleep on the kitchen floor watching her sketch these dresses. And then they would be used in the ads. Yeah.
Oh my!
It's so wild.
So you're you're born into it.
But what's sad is she never signed anything. She's not like me. Like I archive everything. Are you the same way, Kat? Do you every time you were in an article, you like kept that People magazine or whatever?
And if I don't do it, my family has it. You know, when people come over to my house, they're like, "Why do you keep this stuff?" Well, I'm like, why wouldn't I? It's like. Yeah, I do. I love
so much paper. I have so much paper. I have magazine press and all this stuff. And so but she never kept anything. It just didn't either. She didn't have the mindset, or she's just like, it's a check, boom, whatever the next thing is. And so
that
was my childhood. So my mom was like the biggest cheerleader for me and my art.
Oh God, that's so great. I mean, I have the same story too. My family's very musical. My dad's my biggest cheerleader. My mom was at everything. That was really nice to have that support. Plus, both of my parents are musicians, so it was just sort of like that was just going to be it. I knew I wanted that at a young age, but I was very influenced by them as well. Okay.
How is what they were doing different than what you're doing or have done?
Not even that much, honestly. I mean,
Uh-huh.
my dad and my mom were in the same band eventually, as they sort of they went to school together from first grade on. But when they got in high school, my dad started a band called Young Imagination, which totally just timestamps that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was playing piano in band and, like, she played at the local church, and so they finally, like, put her in the band, and she played organ in this band, and they just hit the ground running. I mean, they toured the entire Midwest in this Ford Bronco suicide door situation with a trailer on the back, and they were playing, till 2 a.m. in Nebraska and driving to Wyoming and the next night and doing, these bar gigs. And they were just, working super hard like I still do to this day to just like put it in front of people, play live. That's my thing, no matter what. Like I don't give much away on social media from myself. I don't sing on YouTube and I don't sing on Instagram. Like I like to do it live. And I learned that from them. And I learned the hard work and the ethic and just beating doors down from them,
Mm-hmm.
which
Isn't it funny how hungry you look back at your former self and your former life, and you're just like, whatever it is, I'll do it. What do you need me to
yes,
do? I'll do it. And like, it's like every
yes,
single thing you show up for and drive too long to get to and spend too much time setting up or taking down or whatever. And it's like, it's funny as as a fully grumpy adult right now. I just go like, if it's past 9:30, I'm not showing up.
I
Like,
know. I'm starting to get that with me. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, what's it gonna take for me to actually leave this couch right now?
yeah. Is there any daytime gigs
Can I
available? Yeah.
sing before noon?
Right, right. Yeah. What's the like after church crowd looking like?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I
Okay,
get it.
so for people that don't know, we're Triton and I are very privy to reality television and lots of different shows. But can you explain Project Runway, kind of how you see it, how you saw it, how you
Yes.
now see it, and what makes that competition so intense?
Well, it is firmly based in a talent. So just like The Voice, just like American Idol, just like a baking competition, it is firmly based, surrounded on who is the best of this group at a skill. And so that in this case, it is fashion design and construction. But what's unique about a show like Project Runway and all sorts of other kind of shows in that same genre is you're not one thing, right? You're not just a designer, because in the world, a designer just sketches and hands it off to
Right.
the pattern maker, to sometimes they don't even sketch. Sometimes they just gather fabrics and mush them up onto mannequins and stuff too. And so like you have to be, not only for a competition like this, you have to design, sketch, sew, source your fabrics,
Sure.
construct your garments, make your own patterns, style your models,
Dude.
and be funny or sad while doing it. Like there has to be some character there, right?
Right.
And so you have to fit like some sort of archetype. And when I was cast on Project Runway, and it took, and I'll go backwards and I'll come forwards again. When I got on season 6, that was actually the fourth time I had applied. The
Wow.
first season I saw was season 2, because I didn't have cable for season 1. So I saw season 2. I applied for season 3, 4, and 5, and then 6. And 6 was the one I got on. And every single time, up until season 6, it was an open casting. So I had to fly to Chicago, and you had to have your portfolio, your application filled out, and then you have to go and get interviewed in front of a series of producers and all that stuff, right? And if you make it past that producer, you move to the next level. And this all happens in like one day. And so um, I had gone to the casting with another designer, and she got kicked off. Like, they just like looked at her portfolio and they just said, "You're not what we're looking for." And like, we
Whoa.
had just gotten on a plane. Like,
Oh,
we had just landed. She got there. They opened her book or looked at her and they just said, "You're not what we're looking for." And I like, now I understand casting. Like, they're not going to waste your time. Like, they're not going to be
yeah.
like, let's drag her on. They're not going to waste the next round's attention going, Yeah, just talk to her, put her, let's see what she's got or whatever. So I made it all the way up to the like filmed critique from past um designers on the show. And so then that's the stuff that has aired in the past too. So like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like on the show. So I sometimes they do casting specials. So I'd gotten through all of those first 3 times. And then at some point they just said, we don't know what your identity is or something. And they're like, come back next year. Like always got the invitation, come back. And I always made it further every year. And then on season 6, the casting was a little bit different. It was like you send in a DVD and then you got invited to fly out or something like that. And they said, plan to be out there for 2 days because if you get past a certain time, they want to talk you to the next day. And I was like, I'm planning on 2 days. Like I remember just being like, I'm being there for 2 days. Like there's no doubt about it. And so I went on and did the thing, got the call back, did all this stuff. And then they do, and I'd be interested to know, Kat, if how your casting process was too. But there's all these like, now you have to go get a physical examination, like a doctor physical. You had to get a mental, like they FedExed me like a mental evaluation. You had to fill it out. You had to time it, fill it out and send it back under a certain, like someone's coming to pick it up. And like, it was really intense.
No, we did the same thing. We just did it on location.
Okay. Oh, well, I guess that makes more sense. Like all this stuff was through the mail because we were all over the country.
Yeah.
And then they said, answer your phone on Wednesday because they're going to start filming the show on the following Monday. And they said, they said, you'll know Wednesday, which is, let's see, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's 5 days before they start filming. 5 days. Whoa. They said, be by your phone on Wednesday and you'll get a call whether or not you're on the show. And I'm like, well, I'm on the show. Like, I just remember being so confident. Like you wouldn't say that and I'm not on the show. So then I get the call and they go, unfortunately, you are an alternate and you're not on the show. And I said, oh, an alternate, there's still a chance, right? And they said, well, only if someone gets hit by a bus. Like I remember those words, only if someone gets hit by a bus. Well, you're
like Regina George.
Yes. I was like, okay, I was Googling bus companies. Yeah. So that was Wednesday and I was in a mood from Wednesday to Saturday. Like I could not shake the funk, right? Like I was so close. And then on Saturday, I remember at 1:00 in the afternoon, I get a call and I came up Project Runway on my phone. Cause back in those days, you saved the number and like there was no caller ID. So I saved it and I go, hello, and they said, I'll never forget it. What are you doing tomorrow?
Oh my God.
And I said, and of course I told them to shut up, like, shut up. And they said, basically quit your job, pack for 5 weeks. You're getting on a flight tomorrow and you're filming on Monday. And so on Saturday, I got the call, flew out they flew a film crew to my house that night to interview me. And then I was on a plane at 7 a.m. And then then we started filming on Monday. And I was in a daze. Like I didn't know what was going on because these other folks had, 5 days to get ready and I only had the 1. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't own a sewing kit, like a sewing box, I think that's such a stupid, I can't think of the word, but like where you put all your tools, your toolkit, for sewing. And so I went to Walmart and I bought a tackle box that was like a cooler. Like it could have held 35 cans of Coke. Like it was so big. I still have it. It's on the show. We used to, like, it was me and one other person could use it as a chair. Like we were sitting on this thing. Like we were saying, it was so huge. So that's convenient. For my needles. Yeah. For my needles and scissors. Like I needed that. So I had to quit my job. I got my eyebrows waxed. I think I bought a couple shirts or something like that. And then I had to get on a plane and go. And then, spoiler alert for something that happened 16, 18 years ago, whatever, I won the first challenge. And I remember they sent me back to the green room or wherever you wait for all the people to come back. And the camera guys, so on a show like that, the camera folks and the sound folks, they can't talk to you because that's not the show, right? Like
Sure.
they're not supposed to communicate with you. Everything's supposed to go through the producers and all that stuff. And so I remember the cameraman was filming me, and then he sort of turned the camera away, and around his neck was a lanyard with 16 faces of the contestants on it. And because
Oh my
early
God.
on, they don't know who's who, right? And so he holds up this thing and he shows me and he goes, "Which one are you?" And I look at it and I go, "I'm not on
I'm
there.
not even on the list.
No.
I'm not on there. I'm not on the lanyard of the cast."
Oh
And
my
I won the first episode. So that sort of, to me, speaks to the authenticity of the show. It's not like this
Absolutely, it does.
predetermined, like we got to give this one wins right off the bat or whatever it is. Like they took a person that they didn't even have on their records. I got the win.
Dude.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And wait, where were we at in this moment? Were we in Chicago or were we now in LA?
So now we're filming the show. So now, sorry, I'm on the show at this
That's
point.
okay.
I win the
Yeah.
first episode. Ours was the only season that filmed in LA. They were supposed to start doing like a New York season and an LA season every year. So it's going to be 2 a year. But then the customer or the viewer pushback was that they wanted New York. They didn't like that it was set in LA. So we're so far the first and only season in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And we filmed for 5 weeks straight, not one day off. I lost 15 pounds during that time. There are some people that lost so much weight that they had to have production go out and get them new clothes so that they had clothes to fit in. Yeah.
I mean,
and we were fed. We had too much food. But it's like when you're on the treadmill that is the show, it's not normal life, and your body doesn't treat it like normal life. Yeah.
The pressure cooker.
It is. It truly is.
Okay, well, talking about the whole whirlwind of you getting cast on the show, obviously you've talked about your emotions, but like, did you tell anybody that you were on the show or getting cast possibly? Because it all happened so fast.
Yeah. Well, I remember I told I had to be honest with my workplace. You know, I had to be like, I'm leaving. That thing that I was trying to do happened. And so I had to quit my job because and so I was working at the Mall of America at Tommy Bahama.
Oh my gosh.
As a visual merchandiser. So I had the best job in the mall. I worked 9 to 5 and all I did was dress mannequins and fold shirts, and I didn't talk to customers. Yeah, it's so good. It was so good. So I had to quit that job. And then I ended up, after the filming was done, I came back to it and worked there for a little bit longer. But I had to be honest with them, but I had to sort of a couple close people in my life. And at that time, social media was not a thing at all. And so I couldn't have gotten in trouble there. They told us not to friend each other or whatever on Facebook. And at that time I had a Facebook and a MySpace.
Oh my God.
And so I was like, I only have enough energy to put into one. And so I got rid of my MySpace and focused solely on.
God. Oh, my cat Charlie
Facebook,
is trying to ask you a question, I think, over here. He likes to be on the podcast.
Yeah, so go ahead, Charlie. We have you on the line.
He went,
Thank you, caller number one.
Thank you, caller number one.
Yes.
Okay,
go ahead. Area code 313.
Exactly. So you're kind of thrust into this a lot differently than maybe I knew or even that I've experienced. But so you kind of knew at this point 5 weeks. But then once you got into it, did you start to realize, okay, this is limited sleep. I'm making a huge sacrifice. How do I pay my cell phone bill? How am I going to live life? You know, I had a little bit more of a heads up that was going to happen to me. And it was a big sacrifice for me to film The Voice. And for me, that lasted the better part of a year in Los Angeles. So when you started to understand what you were stepping into, how did you feel? Were you scared? Were you just like, well, we're going to do this. This is the chance of a lifetime.
Well, with you, it was live, right? It was in the moment. It was happening and people were, And so for us, we had done all of this work. We had filmed the whole series, everything but the finale. And
Oh my God.
then there was this Lifetime versus Bravo lawsuit. And so there was legal action and they shelved the show. And it was, the blogs called it like the lost season of Project Runway because they didn't know who we were, right? Like, but they just knew that it had filmed. And because it was filmed in LA and that's a home of paparazzi, they knew it was centered in LA. There were some things that they had. And we saw paparazzi all the time. Saw paparazzi all the time. And to keep the anonymity of who got kicked off, once people would be eliminated, they would go into sequester. But if we did an outing to like Mood or the beach or whatever we were going, or the Getty Museum, we would have to put the eliminated people back in the van to go out. And so
I love that stuff. I love
and give them
stories.
like a prop bag of fabric at Mood and like, yeah, it's wild. And we saw it all the time. Like we saw the paparazzi when we were walking into Mood, they were clicking, they saw Tim Gunn, they knew what was up. Right.
Oh my God.
And so this all was filmed. And then I couldn't say anything. The show didn't have a home. There was a back and forth with, is it going to go back to Bravo? Is it going to go to Lifetime? Is it going to get destroyed completely? Is it going to go? There was even a rumor of it going just straight to like NBC. And I was like, well, that's the best case scenario because it's like more eyeballs. It's not on cable. And then so we filmed September to October of 2008. It did not get a release date till August 2009, almost a full year later.
You're
and
kidding.
So I couldn't imagine it was almost like being pregnant, right? You don't know what's going to happen during that time. And you can't make bold moves because you don't know if it's going to have a home. You can't, you don't know how you're going to be perceived on the show, all that stuff. And so we just had to sit there and stew in this thing. And we're behind the scenes, like texting each other, like, hey, it looks like it might be, it looks like it might be this or whatever. And, you know, when it did finally air, we really felt the full force of like a reality show celebrity.
Here we go. But you had already done it a year before that.
Yeah, it was and it was like, every week I just remember paging through magazines and be like, oh, I have to buy this Us Weekly because I'm in it. I have to buy People Magazine. I have to buy Star Magazine. And it's like all of a sudden, you know, all this stuff is happening. And I still didn't know what to do with it yet because it's like, you think like, you know, I don't know what your perceptions are having gone through a singing competition.
Process,
But for me, it's like, okay, do I wait here and wait for JCPenney to come to me for a collab? What do I do? And so you just don't know. And so at that point, I just was like, I'd taken a different job because I was done sort of answering questions at Tommy Bahama. So I just started working like front desk at a spa doing marketing. And like all of a sudden it was like, you know, People Magazine announced I was on the cast and people are like, good luck. And I go, well, we already did the thing. So, you don't have to wish me good luck.
I know everything.
You know, when do you leave? And I'm like, we did it already. We did it a year ago. And so now we just have to sit back and watch it. So I couldn't take any big steps until I knew. And then it was once the show had completed airing, that February of 2010 is when I was like, if I'm going to make a jump, it's going to be now. Yeah. And it took a year to really like get you know, it's like the Flintstones. It's like you paddle your feet for so long before the car, starts moving. And so like it took a year for me to paddle. Then once after that year, my car was going and it really hasn't stopped. And still to this day, I'm booking gigs because I was on a show in 2009.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So the show airs and America meets you. Mm-hmm. You become known for your color, your joy, and your personality. What was the very first way your life changed that surprised you?
Well, when it was before the show aired, I remember I was like out somewhere. I think I was judging a singing competition, like somewhere. I was asked because it had gone out that I was on the show. And so the byproduct of being on TV or going to be on TV is to do everything. right?
Of
Like all
course.
of a sudden you get asked to show up at a birthday party and, like host this competition and judge a this competition and MC and do all this stuff. And so immediately I was getting these like, hey, can you come and judge this thing? And I was sitting at my little panel with other people that probably sang. And like a woman came up and she goes, can you sign my People magazine? Because you're in it. And I have the
God.
People magazine in the car. And I remember like, oh, that's so funny. Like, and people like the idea, the biggest hurdle that I had to sort of overcome was when people would say like, I'm a fan and a fan of yours versus I'm a fan of the show.
Right.
Right. So now they're a fan of you. I have something that popped up on my screen here.
Now it's
rid of
personal.
that. Yeah. So exactly. Yeah. Like when people are like, oh, I'm a fan of yours after a couple episodes or whatever. I'm such a fan of yours. I'm your biggest fan. And I go, oh, you're like a fan of the show. Like it was hard for me to internalize that I'm the guy from the show.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I obviously I went through that too. And it was very life-changing and in so many ways. Sometimes it would actually be scary to where it's like people are running up to me and like, oh my God, are you Kat Perkins? And I'd be like, at the Mall of America, I'd be like, I am. What can I do for you? Like,
yeah, right. How am I supposed to respond to that?
I was just like, oh, right. I was on television. Right.
I remember when I would ask my friends like, hey, do you want to just walk around the Mall of America? And they're like, okay, but I got to do my hair. Because they knew that people were videoing me and taking photographs and all that stuff. And like, it was just nonstop at that point. My husband and I, we did not pay to eat at a restaurant for a year because you're so locally famous that people go like, hey, we just want to say we love you on TV and whatever. And you tip well and you do a little sketch and you do a photo with the crew in the back room and all that stuff. And you do all these other things. You do all this performance stuff. But what do we have in Minnesota for celebrities, right? Like we have news people and music and sports people. Like we have guys on teams and the news crew. Yep. And so when it's like you or I, people go, oh, they put Minnesota, like we were rooting for Minnesota the whole time, the whole season, the whatever it was.
Plus, I feel like, even to this day, you got the love from the media. I got love from the media. I mean, I think that is something very special about living in Minnesota where they do lift you up like that. And and if you were a guy from LA that was on that show, I think it's a totally different experience. It's like, oh, everyone's on TV out here.
Yeah, of course. We all are on TV. Yeah.
Right. We're all there.
That's very New York or LA. Like you can't be special because on the streets of New York, there's George Clooney on the next block. So you're nobody. Right.
And I think for me, there was a time where it became very, very overwhelming during the show, but after the show especially. And the cool thing about The Voice, and this is my question to you, is we had a lot of mental wellness checks on the show. We had a psychologist all the way through, which I talk about all the time and how wonderful that was. And then when I got back to Minnesota, was after like I said, a better part of a year, they helped me connect with a therapist out here because I think a lot of people, they knew by season 6 that was like, that's a very hard transition to go from nothing in your apartment to just like, I can't go to the gas station or the mall or any restaurant without somebody filming me or asking to take a picture. But I had a lot of support during the show and after the show. Did they do anything like that on Project Runway at all? Or
we were kicked out like a bad 18-year-old. Like there was you're talking to me about support. I go, oh, I don't know what this is. Tell me more about the support.
Right?
We got nothing, nothing on the show, nothing afterwards. And if you were to we learned that if you were going to break down and cry, do it while the cameras were down at lunchtime because the film crew was on a union break.
Sure.
They got breaks. We did not.
Sure.
And so, yeah, we were unpaid. We worked as more than anyone else could, but do want to give a little bit of, I accepted this position. I knew that I could use this as a launching pad for my life, my business, my whatever. And so
Right.
I knew what I was in for, right? Like, I'm the coal miner knowing I'm going to walk out with black lung. Like, I knew what was in for it. And I knew that if I persevered, it would be better long term. And there
Yes.
were times when I wanted to give up. There were times that I was falling asleep while sewing. But what was on the flip side of that action? If I were just to be like, I'm tired, I think I'm done, I am creatively spent, which I was, there's a point where you just want to walk away. But then you go, what's on the other side of that? A longer night's sleep and 2 less episodes or whatever. Like,
Right.
I'm on a trajectory. So let's keep going. And it worked in my favor. I was eliminated the episode before the finale. And then I was brought back for the last 2 episodes of the finale to help the finalists sew. So I was on all 14 episodes of that season. There's no better commercial for you and your business than airtime. And so if you can stack episodes, yeah. Get them.
Yes, actually, Tryton and I were just talking about this just a few days ago. About there were people talking about the montage, as you know, in sometimes in these shows, they'll just kind of montage what happened. Either they ran out of time to show something, or they don't know where the trajectory of this character, this person that's cast, is going, so they'll just kind of montage it. On The Voice, it happens all the time, where all of a sudden they don't get real camera time until like the live shows or the playoffs or right before it goes live. And I never got montaged, which was amazing. Not only that, I was on like the Twitter save of the Voice, which, if you don't know what that is, it's like when you get in the bottom 3, then we would sing for our lives. We had like 90 seconds to sing for our lives, and then they'd go to commercial break, and then people would vote on Twitter. They just had to like retweet a thing or vote. And in the end, not only was I never montaged, I was in the bottom 3 more than anyone on my season. So I literally got the most camera time of season 6 of any contestant, which is wild.
It's interesting because I never sort of like took the sum of your parts and the sum of my parts and put them together. Like, so I won my first episode. I was in the top a couple times. And then I think I spent 7 episodes in the bottom 3.
Dude.
Like, so I was on the stage I was being critiqued for 10 of the 12 episodes, right? So the more you look at a face and people recognize your name, all that stuff. And like, it was part of whatever arc I was on, at some point, like, you have to, like, they like it when a character sort of shifts whatever their position is or whatever.
Yes.
And so it's part of my sort of like arc that I was in the top and then I was in the bottom, and I was like the little engine that could and just kept surviving for whatever reason. And it was just like episodes. Going into any reality show, the worst position, and everyone who I'm sure goes on a show goes, I just can't be the pork chop. I can't be the first out. That's a Drag Race reference for those of, yeah. So I can't be the first out. And so when I got on the show and then competed on the first episode and I won the first episode, I won at that time. You still got immunity. And so that immunity got me through the next episode. So I remember breaking down, crying, going, I have 3 episodes. Because I have the one that I just won, I'm safe next week, and I'm automatically on episode 3.
That's right.
And so if you're talking about FaceTime, yes, you want to be an artist and do your skill, but also at the end of the day, this is an investment in your business. And at that time, we were not paid. I never received. They never wrote a check to me.
Wow.
Every monetary benefit that I received after the show was because of booking a gig or somebody using my likeness or whatever. Like, there's like a video game. There's a video game for the Wii Project Runway video game, and I'm in it.
Yes.
And so I got a check from Atari. So imagine an 80s kid who grew up on video games, like getting a check that has Atari written in the address. But,
amazing.
yeah. And so it's like all those things were because I put in the work on the show. So like, yes, I didn't get my $2,000 an episode or whatever a normal, reality show gets now. Yeah. Oh, you did get, yeah. That feels like
only at the end.
I was like, that's crazy that you didn't even get a stipend.
No, but also we didn't leave.
Well,
so like
you're like, we just worked the whole entire time. So
that's right. Like there were no days off. So I never left the building. And so it was there was no paying rent. Like we were in an apartment that they built or that they furnished. We were in a workplace that they furnished. There was 4 to a room.
Oh God.
Yeah. In like the same bed that I bought at IKEA for my son. Like the $179 bed.
Yeah.
Like a full grown adults sleeping in a twin bed that my son sleeps on. And now I was 29 at the time. I'm 46 now. I don't think if I was ever to go back, I'd be like, I need an extra mattress. Like, you're going to have to go to Serta for this one. I'm not going to do IKEA.
I need a pillow top, please.
Yeah, I'm going to bring my own bedding, my own room.
100%.
Yeah, all that stuff. So, and I'd never been to college, so I'd never shared a room with people. So this was a brand new thing.
Same.
But I was so exhausted at every single day we were exhausted. So I fell asleep every night. There was no like, I'm not comfortable. I'm not whatever. Like, I'm dead.
You're just like done.
Yeah.
14 hours. Done. I'm going to bed. Yes.
Oh yeah. Our first filming day was 16 hours of filming. Our first runway day was 16 hours of filming, and we were falling asleep in the chairs as the runway show was happening.
That is literally so wild.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I remember seeing on previous seasons there was a designer who has since passed on. Rest in peace, Chris March. He was a lovely person. But I remember on an episode seeing him fall asleep on his season and being like, how can you fall asleep? What a joyride. What a whatever. We got on the show. There are shots of us and they're behind the scenes and I could share them. Every once in a while I'll share them. That we had like a lounge area and there is one person sleeping on every couch and ottoman and beanbag, and we are completely out.
Of course.
Every single piece of furniture, including ottomans that are only there were people balled up in the fetal position sleeping on ottomans.
Were they sleeping on your tackle box?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, that would not be comfy. But yeah, we definitely use it for seating, but not for sleeping.
Okay, so what was the most meaningful, positive shift that's happened since being on Project Runway, either personally or professionally?
I think what the show sort of taught me is how to leverage your visibility. And so even if the thing that is interesting about fashion is that it's lovely to watch it and people critique it all day long, but fashion are not clothes. Like, we were not making people clothes. We were coming up with some art opening or whatever the challenge was, like a red carpet event or a garment for a model industry party. Like, this isn't real life. This is not Kohl's, right? Like, these were not so. And then living in Minnesota, where are we going? How many galas do we have to go? Are we going to, right? Like, not very many. And if we go, we're wearing the same dress that we wore to the wedding that we also wore to the funeral.
Exactly.
And so people aren't splurging on $3,000 gowns. So I had to shift and be like, what is something that is non-sizable that everyone loves? So I got into the handbags and accessories instead of the apparel side, something that you could carry with multiple outfits in multiple seasons without having to worry about if you went up or down a size, or if it's if you're carrying around the holiday weight or the now the Valentine's Day chocolate weight or whatever. You didn't have to worry about size. And so I got into the accessory world, and that has satisfied me as a designer and a business person, and I make things for myself. Like, I love making leather backpacks, duffel bags, wallets, shave kits. I like me, the customer. And then when people love it for themselves, that's even greater. That's fulfilling to me because it's authentic. I make it for me. If you love it too, here's one you can buy. Here's a coupon code.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So on the flip side, before we take a break, one last question here. On the flip side, what was the hardest or maybe like the most surprising downside of the public attention that happened right after you were on? After it aired, in your case.
I think it's, and I feel like, and it'd be interesting to know your point of view on this, Kat, and if everyone else kind of went through this too, is that you get lofted so quickly and for so long, you forget what it's like when someone doesn't bring you a drink.
Yeah.
Right? Like you forget, like, all of a sudden you're just like, but where's my this? Like I'm accustomed to somebody walking me to my table and parking my car. And you go through this thing where you're like, my star is no longer on the rise or whatever. And you go through kind of like a post-reality puberty where you go, you were the top spot for how long? And then reality and real life kind of sets back in and you have to like adjust to this thing. You're like, wait a second, but I'm the guy that you said you were such a fan of. And I'm the guy that you put in on every news program, every morning show, every afternoon show. You talked about the gossip sites, talked about you, this talked about you. And then all of a sudden you just go back to like regular life and you're like, but I only remember what it's like to have sparkling or still water. Like,
Right.
I don't remember what it's like to have to fend for myself. And I think
I remember like
me.
Back to Tommy Bahama.
Yeah. Now I'm back at Tommy Bahama folding camp shirts. Yeah. I
remember the feeling of driving again, which was wild. And I got in a car accident like the first day that I started driving again. And I was like, it hasn't been that long. It's been like a year. But I started to take Ubers everywhere because I was like, God, I'm just so used to being driven door to door. Also, in a fashion sense, I really struggled because I was having somebody pick out my clothes for a year. And I know that that's not that long. But once you have somebody do that for every single thing that you do, I mean, every moment of my life, somebody made that decision for me. What my makeup was, what my clothing was, that it was hard for me to make that decision. It was very overwhelming for me to make that decision. But at the same time, without me being able to verbalize that I was just overwhelmed, I remember my boyfriend at the time would say like, Jesus, you're an entitled bitch now. You know, and I'm like, I get it. I see.
We get it. We're there.
I see where you're going with this and I get it, but I'm just adjusting. For God's sakes, I don't know how to do this.
And we were entitled bitches. Like we were gifted that. It was wrapped in golden paper with a satin bow.
Yes.
We were gifted
this
thing because of all of our hard work. People wanted to celebrate you by getting you a drink and driving you to a place and doing your makeup and picking out your outfit, picking out your shoes. And like, I remember like, I would get itineraries that would be like, a car service will pick you up at 9:45 a.m. and will take you to the airport. Then someone will walk you to your gate and then you will get on the flight. You will land. Somebody will be holding your name. Go to that person. That person will take you to the hotel. Yep. Then you meet so-and-so at the lobby at 7:45 in the morning the next day. Like everything was done for you. I did not think about one thing. And I think having gone through that, if I was ever to go through an experience again, I am humbled by the time when I was too much of myself. And so I would go through this again and I would see it happen to everyone else as they're going through it their first time. I would be like, take it down a notch, sweetheart.
Exactly.
Listen to Uncle Christopher. Be gracious because the fall comes. The fall comes. And then you have to survive after that. So be gracious your entire way through because you're going to be alone again and you can't burn any bridges, you know?
Yeah. And for you, this little follow up here. Did you have a support system? Did you have anyone that had done the show before, like anybody to reach out to be like, okay, how do I do this? How do I rebuild my life? No.
I was forging my way to the point where other people from my season and from other seasons were coming at me and going, what do I do? How much do I charge? What do I say? And I became a speaker for the designers. And I said, if you're going to show up, that's like a band showing up, right? You need to get compensated. You need to get paid. They're selling tickets using your name. You are an asset to them. You are selling tickets. Speak for yourself, and I will do it for you too. And I would send them whatever agreements and contracts. I was like the king of that stuff, and I was sending it to everyone else to use because
that's awesome.
So quickly, because there's so many hands coming in, they can all take a piece of you, and you're going to get overwhelmed. You talk about getting overwhelmed.
Yes,
like
and
you're
hard to, right, and it was hard to know that feeling. Like I didn't understand what was going on of just being so overwhelmed with all of it and everything day to day, all of the requests coming in, all of the shows coming in, all of the things. And I luckily had a great team, but yeah, it's a wild process after that. Okay, we're going to take a short break and then we're going to come back with some other hard-hitting questions about like rebuilding your life and what it's like now. And we can't wait to talk to you a little bit more. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Aftermath. We are here with Christopher. And first question I have back from break is, were you guys able to drink alcohol while filming your show?
You go first, Kat.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, you tell me.
I know. So I think I addressed, I think we talked about it on my episode, but we could not. So we were on complete lockdown from basically the blind audition, before the blind audition, because we had 5 weeks before the blind audition. We were on lockdown of alcohol, drugs, whatever, because we were in California. So you could legally have marijuana, but not in our establishment until...
What year was this? Put me in.
2013 and 14.
Okay.
Like filmed half in 2013 and then the live was in 2014.
Got it.
But once we switched over to the live show, we were basically hired by Comcast Universal instead of the company that produced the show, which I can never remember what they were called. But once we turned union, because we had to turn SAG and AFTRA, then they really couldn't tell us what to do in that moment. But all they said in the, for me would have been the last 5 episodes probably of being live. They were like, trust us. You don't want to come to work hungover. We trust you guys because you've been working so hard for this for 8 months that you're not going to want to come to work hungover. And so just, do your thing. And I remember like having my first beer and being like, woo, my tolerance is way down. And I did go to work one day hungover, and that was the last time that I drank on the process.
The first and last time.
It was not fun. And I realized why we did not do that. It was too many long days. We couldn't. I wanted to, but couldn't do it.
I think people had requested, because you can make like dietary and like grocery lists and stuff like that.
Sure.
We didn't spend a lot of time in our apartments because we were in the sewing room every single day.
Right.
And so all of our meals were like catered there. And so, but like they gave us an opportunity to keep things in our refrigerators because we were in like little apartments, 4-2 apartment.
Sure.
And, then I think I remember people asking for alcohol or saying that they would spend their own money to get wine or whatever the thing was. And it just never happened. And I think that was partially with this like lawsuit thing. We didn't know where we were going to land.
Oh, sure.
And like the Lifetime crew or representation like didn't want alcohol shown, or there was something. I remember a conversation happening where since they didn't have a home, they didn't know. And then I remember when it was down to the last 7 of us, they brought in 1 6-pack. So there's 7 people.
Stop.
1 6-pack of 12-ounce bottles or whatever. And here, it made it easy on me. I don't drink, and I did not care to. But they all grabbed a bottle and drank their one, Coors Light or whatever. I could not tell you, but I just remember it being a 6-pack of the bottles that they brought in.
It's just
That is
rude.
so
7 of us. Yeah. In one room, we all gathered in our room. We called it like the view. Like we all gathered in like my room and we chatted there. And that's where all the cameras were to shoot, what they called, I think they just called it shooting reality. So it was just us talking. But that's
Love,
when
sure.
the beer came out. The
Did they air
6
it?
bottles.
Did they air you drinking it?
I would
Do you
have to look
remember
back.
that?
I haven't rewatched my season at all since it aired.
Okay,
And so
yeah.
I couldn't tell you certain things that happened because I
Sure.
haven't relived that. It's kind of like have you watched your episodes?
You can't.
Like,
My dad finally gave me DVDs of my season I had to pull some things because I do a lot of motivational speaking,
mhm.
and I thought it was probably pretty relevant to show I was actually on the show. Here's what happened.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I ripped a few of those things down, but you can't find my season. So no, the answer is no. I've never seen it in full. I've never seen it in full. I don't.
Well, I'm going to find it, and we're doing a viewing party.
Yeah, if we ever find it.
We'll
and
air
then for
it.
mine too, I'll watch it if I have a reason to I'll do commentary on the behind the scenes stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But so for us, it was for you, I think it makes sense because somebody owns the rights to the music and the
that's
songs and all that
true.
stuff.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's I walked into Target, I bought the DVD with my face on the back. And so I have the DVD, and then now it streams everywhere because people will take screenshots or photographs of their TV and send it to me, which is the worst thing to do. Please don't do that because every picture is this, right? It's open mouth,
yeah, right?
one eye open.
Mine's always singing. All the screenshots are yeah, it's wild.
My mouth is open in every shot. Even still photography, I'm because they're on set. We called him the photo ninja because he was taking pictures and his camera made no sound. He was in like a box that made no sound, and he was taking pictures, and they would put out these pictures, and I was smart. I downloaded every picture that I was in. My mouth is totally I'm what do they say? Catching flies. I'm totally slack jaw, wide 100%. Mouth in every shot. I'm in mood, just but
the worst.
Yeah, but I don't watch the season because it's kind of like a snake eating its own tail. I would do it for you or for a broadcast or go on our friend, the Jason show has a thing. I would love to do a segment where you sit down with Jason and have a commentary on an episode of yours, watch it together and you can give your insight. I would do that. I actually pitched that to them. I'm you have a lot of friends that are on reality shows. I would watch the segment of you and Caroline talking about an episode of The Traitors. Please give me that. I want to know from her mouth what she's going through watching her episode.
That is pretty brilliant because
so
I often say if you could see thought bubbles of what's
that's right.
really
and I would tune into that series. I want to know because I was on a reality show and I'm such a fan.
Same.
Everyone who's on Drag Race, Top Chef, Survivor, Traitors, The Circle, everything. I want to know the things we don't know.
Yep. America's Top Model.
And that's why we're here.
I need to know
that's
all
why we're here. That's why we're talking. Yeah.
And that is why we are on the Aftermath podcast
currently.
That's right.
But yeah, I would sit down and watch my season if I had a reason to, but to do it on my own feels a little.
I would never watch it on my own.
I don't think I could. That would feel like torture if I did it for a purpose or with a group or I think my kids watched one episode and they I won that episode. That was the first one. And they I remember feeling so patronized. One pat me on the head and was you did a good job. And I'm all right, we're done. We're done with that.
Wrap it up.
You did a good job. Okay. Now that's how I talk to you at your saxophone recital. I get it, but.
Okay. Before I move on to the next question, I do have a question actually about your garments that you created. Did you get to keep any of them?
No. And so those were auctioned off.
Really?
And it was to benefit the production. I don't think it was for charity or anything like that. I did recently, last year, I did some posting about some behind the scenes content or whatever. And two of my looks actually made their way back to me. People reached out and said, I went on the auction. I bought the things. I would like them to live with you now. And so I've received a couple back.
You're kidding me.
Mm-hmm. So that's been pretty lovely. And it's so funny because I have mannequins. I work in fashion now. And I was I'm going to put these on the mannequin. Oh my gosh. Our models were way smaller than my mannequins. Now I look back, I don't have any perception of how actually tiny these women were that
Oh,
we
I'm
were
just thinking,
dressing, they don't fit on my mannequins.
my mannequin
That
is
is
sitting
so
right
crazy.
next to me, which obviously that's not great podcasting material, but I do realize that is not, I mean, I'm probably, yeah, that's, my mannequin's like
Like,
normal size.
like it's like if my mannequins are a 2, these did not fit
Yeah.
the mannequins, and
Yeah.
so they were, well, and also you're custom
That's
making
crazy.
for a specific body, and
Sure.
so these people, the models that we had were very slender, and they were not busty girls. They had very, like, narrow through the rib cage, and you just,
Yeah.
it at some point it's just like, oh, I'm just dressing this one person. You sort of
Yes.
get taken away from the connection between reality and what you're actually making. Oh, but so I don't have the designs, but I reached out to a person that was on a friend of mine who was on season 2021, the one that just aired, that had Ethan from formerly of Drag Race.
Love Utica.
Yeah, he was on it. Yes, Utica Queen. And
Yes.
so there was another, I knew on that season was the Estrada twins, and
Yep.
I've been working with them for a decade.
Oh,
And
really?
so, like, I messaged I think Jesus, and I was like, hey, do you get to keep your garments now? Like, what's the process? Every year, something changes. And
Yeah.
and I think, and he said that after the production is done, they're supposed to receive their garments back, but he hadn't at that day. Now I feel bad about saying somebody else's things. Like, I normally don't tell you what other people said, but it seems that in new seasons that you might receive your garments back.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay,
But
so
yeah.
you have built such an incredible brand since the show. Books, fashion, design, entrepreneurship.
I'm a
When
big
did you
fan.
realize that this experience could become something bigger than just a TV moment?
Like, was there a moment that you were like, ding, here we go?
I mean, I really did use the whole experience as the moment. Like, I was like, if that this was the biggest business investment of my life, and it was just my time.
Yeah.
I didn't have to put $1 million in anything. I didn't have an advertising budget. I didn't have whatever. Somebody did that for me. I just put in the work. And
Absolutely.
so if I could take that and leverage it into whatever the business was, and now I do a fair business with accessories, fashion accessories and leather goods, but also going back to watching my mom illustrate, I started doing that, and I thought I was doing, behind the scenes, I was an illustrator for hire for other companies. And I had worked for some big name companies. I don't want to mention them here. I will if I run into you in the parking lot somewhere. But like, I can't put my name on anything. I can't sign my name because once they own something, all your rights are taken away.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
you can't
sure.
show it. I can't put it in my portfolio, anything. And so I was like, well, what's the legacy of an illustrator if there's nothing to put your name on? And so I thought, and I said, I've been drawing this little manatee character since I was like 10 years old. Let me do a book about this manatee. And then that was so successful. I pre-sold this children's book and little plush toy. I pre-sold $25,000 worth of books and stuffed animals. And so I did that, the first book, I did the next one and the next one, and now I'm about to publish my 10th book.
Oh my
And
God.
so that's the legacy part of this thing, because it's not,
Yes.
because it's giftable, right? Like, whoever's buying
Yes.
it is not buying it for themselves. They're gifting it to somebody else. It has my name on it and my little biography in the back. So there's an inherent way to tell my story beyond the actual children's book part of the story. And it's something that is like, I've published, or I've printed, I mean, I would have to do the math, but it's over 70,000 books. And so those are living
So
on
cool.
bookshelves and boutique shelves and stuff all over
And they're
the
so
country.
great. I'm a huge fan, and I also need you to help me take my children's book to fruition for sure.
I want to help you. I'm going to
Yes,
hold you
please.
hostage, and we're not leaving the cabin until we have a book.
Please.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've got the premise. Anyway, I'm just such a big fan. Obviously, I'm wearing your stuff right now, and it's just been it's so delightful to talk to you again. I have one last question before we play a game.
Okay.
And this is kind of one of my favorites. I get asked it a lot, but it's kind of standard, but I love this. I want to hear how you answer this. If you could go back and talk to your 10-year-old self, which is kind of what, you're doing in a book, but
Yeah.
what is one piece of advice you would give Christopher Straub at 10?
I mean, I would say that the things that make you different are the things that make you special, which is the reason you're going to succeed. And I figured that out on my own without someone telling me. Like, I'm very much a carve my own path type of guy, and I do the work. I will put in the work. Nothing I've done was, business wise, was provided to me. I went and did it the hard way. And for me, that's the artist way, is to figure it out, because the thing that makes it special is what happened before it got printed or before it got drawn. Right. And it's all everything that leads up to this thing. And that's, there's a big conversation right now, especially in the children's book world, about AI created imagery and stuff like that.
Right.
And if I could put this on a shirt, I could put it on a hat, I would get it tattooed on my neck. Bad art is better than AI images.
That's amazing. Right? Yes.
Like, it is, I will in your world too, I will take a crusty, dusty, smeared drawing of a mouse 100 times over the perfect, crisp vector art version of somebody else's mouse.
1,000%, my dear, 1,000%.
And so it's one of those, it's like, it's the authenticity thing. Like, I want to see where you're coming from. And even if, if there are people that are like, well, if you're an artist, then you're a gatekeeper for other artists, and we're not allowed to succeed in art. Not everyone needs to be a Walt Disney level animator, artist, whatever.
Exactly.
Look what South Park did. Cut construction paper, and they took over the world.
Yes.
Right? Make a puppet.
1,000%.
And there's friends of mine who are who want to do a children's book or something like that, and they can't draw. And I said, well, you're a fashion designer. Why don't you quilt that book? Guess what? I'll be first in line for your quilted ABCs.
Oh, God. Bingo.
Seriously.
That's such great advice.
Don't do something because it's been done. Do it because it hasn't been.
Oh my God. I love this. I need to talk to you every week.
I'm available.
Okay,
I'm
good.
available for.
We live like 10 minutes away from each other. Okay,
just come and sleep over. We'll watch Spice World. We'll play Tetris.
I want to see the ducks that you. I know that you have on your. I call it a farm. You have a farm.
Yeah, we say farm. We say land. Yeah. I'm a duck farmer. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see the ducks again.
I raise ducks and geese and chickens.
6 years, 5 years. Tryton, this is one of my favorite games. Will you please lead us in this final fun thing on our podcast?
Absolutely. You've been so vulnerable, and now we're going to have a little quick, fun, rapid fire fashion face-off edition.
Yay!
Okay, fine. I'm ready. Is there a theme music?
In post.
Okay, good. All right.
We'll talk to our audio girl.
Yeah, our audio person. Okay. Cowboy boots or combat boots?
Combat boots.
Shorts or pants?
Where are we going?
I like either or.
I don't know. I like pants. I'm a pants.
Denim or lace?
Denim.
Rhinestones or sequins?
Ooh. Sequins all day.
Yeah.
Gold or silver?
Gold. Team gold. Team gold.
Structured or flowy?
Structured.
Minimalist or maximalist?
Oh, it depends on the day. I don't know. I tend to be maximalist. More.
Love.
Give them more.
Absolutely. Vintage or futuristic?
Future. The future.
Black and white or full color explosion?
Oh, for me, black and white. For everyone else, full color extravaganza, eleganza.
Runway couture or ready to wear?
Runway.
Sketch first or drape first?
No, sketch always. I need a blueprint.
Duh.
Hand sewing or machine sewing?
Never hand sewing over here. I will ignore processes and procedures to machine sew. Yes.
Love.
Yes, King. I hear that.
Hardest material to work with?
The light stuff, like the chiffons, the
Chiffon.
silks, I love,
Hard.
like, give me upholstery. I can do wonders with upholstery and vinyl and
That's why you make
leather.
bears, and
Yes.
like leather work,
Yeah.
Chiffon, screw that. That's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Most underrated fabric?
Upholstery. Yeah.
Love.
Favorite item to craft from scratch?
A teddy bear.
Yeah.
Love.
I love your teddy bears.
One trend you wish would disappear for forever?
Trend. The concept of generations like ours looking back at the younger people saying that we did it better. I think let them have their wide leg pants and their crop top shirts from the 90s. We lived our life, and trends, you're only allowed one era of trends. Once you grow out of it, it's for the young. You don't get to go back to 90s trends or whatever once we're 40. Yeah.
One trend you secretly hope comes back?
The more I like a lot of schmata on something. I love studs and rings and straps, and like when Balenciaga had like shreds of leather coming off of every pull tab, and like I love where it's just like a walking mop, but it's a handbag.
Hell
Absolutely. Statement piece or subtle details?
I like a statement piece.
Mood board or pure intention?
Intuition. Pure intuition.
Or intuition. Sorry, I can't even read my own word.
No, mood board. I need to have focus and then derive from that focus.
Okay, now we're going to move into a Project Runway edition. So Heidi Klum or Nina Garcia?
Oh, Heidi Klum, only because she's taken selfies with me.
Yay! Hold on.
Michael Kors
nice?
or
Is
Tim
she nice?
Gunn?
Hold on. Is she nice? Is she nice?
Well, I remember like joking, and I did some interview. I'm sure it was like on a Twin Cities Live, like another local show.
Yeah.
And they're like, does Heidi Klum have your phone number or whatever? I don't remember what the question was. And I was like, she wouldn't know who I was because she only saw me when I was on the runway, right? Like she doesn't know. She only knows my name because it's one of the three people that's up there.
Yeah,
But then I was at an industry party like a year later, and she pointed at me and she goes, "You come over here." And she did this thing with her finger, "Get over here." And I just remember going, Heidi Klum knows me. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, like, and she invited me over, and then she did a selfie with me and stuff.
Oh, so she is.
I love Heidi. Yeah, Heidi gets my points.
Sorry, I needed that info, Tryton.
Love.
Continue.
Okay, Michael Kors or Tim Gunn?
Tim Gunn.
Workroom chaos or runway adrenaline?
I like the runway adrenaline.
Ugh.
Critique day or challenge reveal?
Oh, I like a challenge. Give me the challenge.
Okay. Designing for yourself or designing for a client?
Myself.
And
hell yeah.
Describe your season 6 experience in one word.
Dream. It was a dream. Ooh. Like, because I barely remember it.
Oh my God, I'm going to steal that.
And it was a dream come true. Yeah.
That's a great
I willed it to happen. I worked towards it, and it happened, and it did everything I asked of it to do for me.
You are a delight to talk to. Thank you so much for just like being vulnerable, being honest. Like it's so interesting for me. I could probably talk to you for like 4 days straight. We should just literally go on a retreat and just like
I think
talk
we're on
about
day 3 right now.
100%.
Yeah.
And thanks for trusting us. And hopefully we have some listeners to hear this story. It's just been so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And before we wrap, where can our listeners follow you, shop your designs, and stay connected to your work?
Of course. So my website is ChristopherStraub.com, and there you can buy everything that I make and sell and design and sell. And then you can follow me on Instagram at Schmistopher, SCHMISTOPHER.
Christopher Schmistopher!
Yay!
Thank you so much. My goodness. Seriously, thanks for doing this. We really appreciate it. And
happy to.
I love just like hearing everyone else's story and getting it out to people. So thank you so much for doing it.
Thanks for listening.
Yes, and we'll make sure to have everything linked in the show notes for everybody can get all of your books and your teddy bears and your bags and shop your whole site. So Christopher, thanks again. It was truly our pleasure to have you
on
the Aftermath.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear.
Aftermath.
Oh my God. What did you think? Okay, first of all, sorry, I didn't mean to false start that, but he really does have a duck farm. I don't think we were clear on the
Oh, I
podcast. Like
assume.
he had, like, if you follow him on Instagram, he raises ducks. He's the best duck dad, and his husband is also an amazing duck dad. I mean, it's so cool. But he lives in a suburb of the Twin Cities, like just by me, and he somehow got this property with like a bunch of land, and it's on a creek, and it's like I think it's a creek behind it.
Love.
I remember there being water. So he's really a duck dad, like for reals. That's not a joke. Anyway, wasn't he the
Love.
most amazing? Listen, also, by the way, he seems to be in a very great mental space about the experience, what happened after. He was such a go-getter beforehand that I think there's my cat again. I think that that show just literally gave him the punch up that he needed to just keep doing what he was going to do anyway. Like he's just one of the most grounded, stable entrepreneurs that I know.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, he basically put out into the universe of what he wanted and then finally was able to reap the benefits of it and then literally snowballed it into an entire career.
Literally. I mean, super smart. I think it was built into him. It was really interesting to get to know his backstory with his mom, and like I think he just didn't know anything else. Like that's that's who he was born to be, and he's actually doing it.
Yeah,
Right?
I love people that have talents like that just know off the get-go. And they just take it and run.
Yeah, and
They're
like
like,
for him,
I know what I'm gonna do and I'll take whatever side steps I have to. And of course
yeah,
that led him to a huge stage, which is also crazy that they did not get paid or
that is
compensated in
crazy
any
that
way.
they did it.
So that is really wild to think like I have to take off 5 weeks
Yeah,
of my
he
job and I
didn't
have
have
to
to start a
stay
union.
there during the entire filming because the paparazzi. So I
Oh
have to
my
go to
God,
mood with everybody, which is also
that
crazy. So I'm
killed
like, it's
me.
not like you get eliminated and you go home and you're like, I'm back at my job. It's like you didn't get paid for any of that.
Plus, they had to stay there. Plus, then he waited an entire year. And we probably didn't ask this. I'm just assuming it, but I'm sure there was many points of all of that year too that he was like, we don't know if it's ever going to air.
Well, that was crazy. I did not know that it didn't have a home.
I didn't either.
So yeah, that's even more wild of like, at least in most cases, you film something and then you later
You're
at
like,
some point
can't
get
wait
a
till I
air
see it.
date and you're like, hey, this is when the promos are gonna go out and this is when it's gonna da 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 da. And you kind of have a zeitgeist in mind of like, okay, at this point, then things might pick up. But you're just like a sitting duck and
Yeah.
just waiting. Literally never know if
For
those
him, that's
5
perfect.
weeks were ever gonna pay off, so you
And
could
then-
actually snowball.
And then I think I can go on record saying that out of all of the reality stars that I actually personally know, I don't know him. We don't hang out all the time, but like I run into him in the Twin Cities a lot. But out of all the people that I keep in like my radar of reality television, he might be one of the most successful guys that I know. Like with his books and his branding, and it's still all he does for a living. And it's incredible.
Well, I love that he just like does it for himself. Again,
Yeah.
that I think a lot of things nowadays it's very targeted to like what my audience might like, what somebody
Yeah.
else might like. And he's just like, "No, I do this because I like it." And if I
Yeah.
make the book bag that I like, somebody else might like it. And then they can go buy it on my shop if they want.
Yes.
And of course, that just snowballs into then a kid's book and then a book and then this and all
Yes.
these different things. And I'm like, I want to go to this site and buy something because I like
Yeah.
looked on him and I'm like, okay, well, I don't need a leather bag, but I'm like, ooh, I really want like a little travel tote.
I love that he uses such heavy material. I'm wearing a Straub sweatshirt right now. It's a platypus, and it's a character in his book, and I have a matching hat that goes with it. And I've been to the Straub store in person when he does a pop-up at the Minnesota State Fair. And part of his pop-ups now include his son's work. His son, I don't remember how old. I'm going to say 11, 10. He creates these pins. What do you call them? The little pins that you can put on your clothing. They're that heavy material. People are gonna yell at me when they're listening to this.
I'm like, I have no idea what it's called,
Like
but
a
I
little
know where you're
collector
going.
pin.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like
And
a
they're
push
really
pin,
made.
clink,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
like
I can't think of it.
a metal.
So his son draws these little characters and then they make them into pins. And I have 2 of them right now in my collection. And I think what we're seeing is his son's going to be just like Dad, which is so
I
cool.
love that.
Did you have fun?
Oh my God, I had a freaking blast.
I couldn't do this
I love
without
learning.
you.
I love
It's
learning
almost
about
like
the ins and outs.
doing this podcast together is almost like therapy for me. It's also like the best like friend hang night that we can get. And also it's so interesting, like asking the questions in real time and then hearing it in real time. It's like I'm listening to the podcast, which is also kind of wild. I don't know if you feel that way.
Well, absolutely. That's why sometimes I forget to even
Don't know.
respond because I'm just literally so enthralled because I'm like, oh my God. I was waiting to ask that. Like I needed somebody to tell me what it was like. Because of course I watch most of these shows.
Yeah,
And I'm a big fan of
exactly.
most of these shows. And I'm like, oh, I've always wondered after how many seasons of watching it. Like again, I was just like, do you get to drink alcohol? I have no idea.
Right?
A lot of places don't because you're on, well, we just said ice. You can't talk
Ice.
backstage and you can't do this and you can't drink and you can't.
Which is
Because of
wild.
course they're holding it all for film.
Well, to
But yeah, so
air.
just like, there's like little things I'm like, oh my God, as a fan, I'm just so curious.
I think we could have talked to him for like 2 hours. We should have made it into a double episode,
Hours.
but I didn't want to make him miss his, dinner.
Well, who knows? Maybe he'll come back for a second part someday.
Let's do that.
Okay, well, to everyone listening, if this episode resonated with you, please subscribe, rate, and share Aftermath, Life After Reality TV with a friend. And leave a comment with who you would love to hear from on a future episode. We'll see you next time.
This
Is
Aftermath.
Aftermath.
I love you, TT. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Aftermath is produced by TK Productions, in-studio production by Kat Perkins, theme song also by me, and your co-hosts are Tryton Landseedel and Kat Perkins. We'll see you next week.